straightforward. So you want to be able to use a single campaign. You want to make as few changes as is humanly possible and still have it all work in the way that you want. Is that right?
Right.
Okay. So let's take a look here. I'm going to get away from your contact screen before I share my screen for the privacy of your people.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And here we go. So, which is the campaign in question?
Go up to systems. Systems. The webinar, there you go.
Okay. All right. So there's boom, 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 campaign. So webinar invitation. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to keep this open. Let me actually see if I can. Oh yes, I can do that. So convenient. So I'm just going to press Command and then so I can keep this open so it doesn't take me off this screen. So submits form. So let's actually see, is the intention to have this same form be on the same page? So let's see. Submits form, FFA, okay, boom, boom, boom. Cool, great, nice and generic. So it's not talking about this or that event. So that's great. When a person asks a question like, and this is a really good question to be asking yourself always as you're building an Ontraport is how can I make a system that will be the most useful for the most use cases without needing to constantly be where as few changes are required for this thing to work as is humanly possible.
Right.
So, so one way to do that is making sure that the form that you use, if you're going to be using the form over and over again, making sure that it is, generic like this. So yes, it is generic. So so people fill that form out, right? And then they get added here. And so this is what's actually inviting them. And then they fill out the form. Um, so either they get the invitations and then they click the tracked link to register, or they fill out the form, is effectively doing the same thing, right?
Right.
Um, then um, then it's like, okay, webinar confirmation. Let's check it out. What's going on inside of this this email? Okay, you're all set. I've got you set, and I'll see you on April 24th. So you've got April 24th as a hard date baked right into this email, right?
Right.
So what you ought to do is you ought to create a field instead that is some version of next webinar date. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to actually go on ahead and do that now if it's okay with you.
That's fine.
Okay. So I can do that right from here by way of going, okay, create new field, bing, bang, boom. All right. So virtual events. Okay. So we'll just go on ahead and we'll create it in here, and we're going to say webinar fields. We're going to go date, excuse me, next webinar date. Okay. Next webinar date is going to be a date type field. it can be a date and time field. And we're going to go save. And we're going to go save again. And actually, the truth is, I already saved out of that, but I'm we would be better off to actually create one more, which is called next webinar title. Okay. And this can be a text field or a long text field, but because we know that long text type fields work in mostly the same ways and they take up much less space in your database, let's just go on ahead and use the next type, the long text type field. Then what you can do is, instead of putting that there, you can go like this. You can go boom, webinar, next webinar date. Okay, and how do you want it to be showing? Do you want it to be, I assume that you would want it in the contact's time zone, or would you like it to be in your time zone? I imagine you think about this stuff like in Pacific time zone, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's have it be in your time zone. Okay, so this is, let's do that, and then okay, so that's that. Then we're gonna say okay, you're all set. I've saved a spot for you in, okay, and now we're going to go add the webinar title, and I'll see you on, okay, so that's um, that is the setup to provide for the maximum amount of flexibility for this system. I will say this is an awful lot of real estate designated for the logo. I would encourage more like maximum of 100. Actually, we'll go like that, and we'll go like that. We'll go. Okay. So save. Now, the next thing is you got to actually make sure that um, that's getting populated with whatever's next. So imagine. So what's on deck right now in terms of what is the next, the title and the date and time of the next webinar that's coming up.
So it's called the Financial Freedom Accelerator.
Okay.
And the next time that it's being offered is May the 22nd.
Okay. So what you would want to do is, is there anybody already registered for it?
No, no, there's nobody registered for this one, but there were people who were registered for the last one. So one of the questions that was kind of the follow-up question, other than what you just helped me with, is does it make sense for me to be tagged? Do they all have the same tag if they come through that door, or should they be specific to which event they signed up for? If it's always the same event, but somebody signed up for this month and somebody else is signing up for next month, do I want to make that distinction and have some way to know? Because like when we're having these conversations, just like one of the things that we talked about during my customer journey is I don't always know where people come from. And so
Mhm.
I'm just kind of wondering, would that help me clarify where people are coming from? They came through this door, they were interested in this
Yep.
particular
Got it.
date.
Yeah, got it. So great. So what we would want to do is we want to come over here and we want to say, okay, cool. They, no matter if they click the track link or if they fill out the webinar registration form, what we need to do is we need to have, before any emails go out, right? We need to have a step here that updates the contact. Okay. Um, Update contact, and we're gonna update. Actually, let me see here. So, webinar, next webinar date, right? So this is really important for you to listen to. This is the one manual thing that you're going to have to do every time you are ready to um,
To do another one.
exactly. So you going to come in here to this update uh, contact step. You're going to
Okay.
change the date in that field to whatever the next one is, which in this case is May 22nd,
Yep.
2021, right?
Yes.
At what time?
It's at 9 o'clock in the morning.
In nine
California.
Pacific, 9 Pacific. So let me see. Why is it showing me? Okay, son of a gun. Um, does anybody know what Pacific time zone GMT is? GMT -1? No, Los Angeles. There we go. Los Angeles. I just saw it.
There it is. You just scrolled past it
There we go.
right there.
Okay, great. So it's not 7:15. It's sorry, 9 a.m.
9 a.m.
9 o'clock a.m. Right. So that's that. It's going to change that date for everybody who registers, right, to this, and that will make it so that that's correct. But there's also one other update contact that needs to be changed, and it is not that field. It is the field called next webinar title, and we want that field to be populated with financial freedom accelerator. Yeah.
Mhm.
No,
Uh,
boo,
uh,
bad speller. Okay, so now you're set. These are the two things that need to get changed every time you, and so however you track that for yourself, that's what needs to change. And that's the only thing that you'll have to change from one to the next. Okay?
So, so let me go back. So what I had been doing is hard dates in all of the emails and stuff like that. So will I need to go into that whole series and just make sure that it's now got the fields
Virtual.
as opposed to the hard
Virtual.
dates?
Totally. That's right.
Okay, so that okay.
You can just easily go into this webinar confirmation one and edit and then copy and then paste it into the other ones instead of having to go and use the merge field tool each time.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.